Hi guys, it's Greenmuts here with another video for the MP Academy. Today again a video from the 140 edition. And today I want to talk about layering and how you can make interesting basses by layering all types of sounds. And we're gonna experiment with that today. So I chose a sample that is already doesn't have enough bass and all of that, so it's kind of perfect to show you what I want to do. On a bass like that, it lacks sub, for example, and it's kind of weak to begin with, but it has a nice character. So how are we gonna make that work? So that's what we're gonna dive in today. But first, if you're new here to the channel, please consider subscribing. We really do appreciate all of your support. So let's dive into that. The bass I took out is some notch bass experiment I made. Sounds like that in total. It's basically just from using notch filters, which is stuff like that, automating that on a bass, okay? That's how you kind of get these sounds. And as you can see, they all have kind of a lot of character. So I'm going to first arrange them in a way that makes sense. For example, then we're going to turn that up a lot. Boom. For example, I think that's always kind of important in the beginning already to kind of make a little bit of an idea. Oops. And as you can kind of see, there's almost no bass to begin with. Oh, I already left that notch. But there is not a lot of bass. And we know the note is on D sharp, which is why I'm gonna make the cut at around D sharp as well. And now we're gonna layer that with some sub. And there's a few ways we can do that, and it really depends on what vibe you are going for. Not fat filter, I need serum. And I'm just gonna choose a basic BD sign. I'm gonna enhance some of the things, and I talk about sub bass a lot in a different video, so I'm not gonna dive deeply into that today. So now it depends on what you want. I can kind of tell this original bass is in D sharp because I wrote it down, but I feel like this note is going up a semitone. So what I'm gonna do is make a normal D sharp note, and then go back to the D sharp. And you could basically build a track like that by maybe taking out some more. And right now it sounds also a little bit boring, the sound in itself, so I'm gonna add a reverb. If I want to go the atmospheric route, I'm gonna show you two different ways to layer. So we're gonna turn on send again with some EQ. And as you can tell, it already sounds way cooler. And what I like doing with these type of things is a lot of the times there's a fade, right? And you kind of get a cool, a cleaner sound with doing fades. But what I think sounds really nice is using filters instead of fade. So for example, like that. Still faded because there's a click. And then here the same. And you get just a cleaner, more detailed sound than just making a fade. I think the mix of both can often be very nice. And then you decide how steep that curve is. Making it less steep right now. And I kind of want to glue them together. So what we're going to do is use some distortion here. We can use Ableton's Raw, which is a simple distortion, but it sounds really nice. And then it depends on what you want. If you want that to be deeper, you can make a general high cut on the mids as well. And what I really enjoy with these type of sounds, if they're atmospheric, for example, is just adding some corpus, for example. And then I'm gonna show you a little cheat sheet. We're having D sharp here, for example, right, as our main note. And what is a perfect fifth? It's 7 semitones up. So what I often do is I open up Splice and I go to key, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is A sharp. And then I know a perfect fifth is A sharp, and then I can, for example, type the A sharp here. Maybe without that. I really like the corpus sound, and this way I made the whole thing a bit more melodic. Or a bit more metallic or whatever. And then add some maybe metallic ping pong. You can also take that same filter movement and put it after the corpus. That already gives you a bass phase, and I think then you can use all types of sounds, like a certain, like a texture, Foley texture of some kind. For example, just to get a little bit of that top end back, but like a smooth, cool, interesting top end. Maybe let it ring out a little bit. I like doing that. Take a part from a different part sample. Just, it sounds a little bit different each time. And then you just repeat that. And then use the same cut again. So right, so they kind of sound like they belong into the same universe. They're all getting squashed from that distortion. And if you want to go a bit crazier, you can pan this 20 right and 20 left, for example. And if you want it to be less, if you want these basses to be more aggressive, I would take the reverb out and I would layer it more directly with, for example, a little bit of a pitch automation like a kick. So for example, you take LFO1, you put it to global tuning, and you give it just a little bit of a, and you put it on envelope. Make a bit of a kick each time it hits, and then you get a more aggressive sound. Take those, turn those down. That one. Also the cluster delay, a bit less feedback. And then just destroy it more. And then you get a way more and there's no sidechain, so it sounds a bit distorted right now. But you get the gist, what you can do with layering, turning a simple sound into something more complex. Just think about it in terms of what does the sound lack? I feel like it doesn't have enough bass. So layer a sub or a sample with a sub in the same key underneath. Then think, does it lack some highs? Maybe I'll make some crunchy highs. I showed you a tutorial about how to make those with autopan or ring modulation. Add some crunchy texture to it, or use a weird Foley sample like we did right now, or use corpus to get a kind of metallic texture, or use convolver or any type of convolution reverb to really turn it into something new and interesting. And that's how I approach a lot of my sound design generally. So I hope you're gonna experiment with that and have a lot of fun with it, and see you in the next video, guys. Peace out.